welcome to the Press Y Podcast, episode 17. Here on the Press Y Podcast, as always, we're the weekly show where we cover gaming news and the gaming industry, give our analysis, some of our thoughts and opinions on what's going on in the gaming realm. I'm Gunnar, and joining me today, as always, is Emerson. You want to say hi, Emerson?
Hello. And your advice for the day is that opinions are just facts by other names.
Oh, wow. Man,
yes,
we should make this
actual facts.
We should make this a normal segment, the advice for the day. All right, very cool.
I think last week I did motion controls. I was still in my rage from Skyward Sword.
Yeah, God, I hate motion controls.
So I'm going to try to start things with a generic fact of the day, and today it's that our opinions are just facts.
A generic hot take.
Yes, generic hot take of the day. All right.
All right, but yeah, this week we're going to cover. Shut up. This week we're going to be covering. This week we're going to be covering quite a few topics, talking about the Stadia launch, which is coming out on Tuesday, so tomorrow as of the launch of this episode, but we are recording on Sunday the 17th. Also, BioWare is working reportedly on a Anthem overhaul, which will be interesting, and Pokemon Sword and Shield launched this past week, and boy, do we have thoughts. Oh, it launched, that's for sure. But again, just like and subscribe. Follow us on Twitter. What else? I don't know. Oh, click the notification bell. Do that. Yeah, I'm going to ask you to like and do all this before we get into the actual content because assume that our stuff is good. Anyway, let's get into this. So the first thing we're going to cover this week is that Call of Duty Modern Warfare, the current game, is the best-selling game of 2019 so far. This isn't too big of a surprise. Call of Duty always performs very well. And this is according to some recent information gathered from the MPDs. And it's actually the best. It's the best-selling game of 2019. It's also the best-selling game from the October 6th to November 2nd period on the NPD charts, with the Outer Worlds in second and Luigi's Mansion in third. And actually, Luigi's Mansion may be closer to first, but Nintendo doesn't supply NPD with download copies or statistics on the downloaded copies of their games. So unfortunately, we can't actually tell there. But as far as retail goes, Luigi's Mansion 3 is still in third and
Nintendo
competing
does
well.
Enjoy basking in their mystery.
Yeah, I guess so. But anyway, good for Activision, good for COD. It's a good refresh of the series. I really like dying by claymores all the time. It's such a fun experience. It's actually a really fun game. It could use some work. All right, what else? Ooh, something that launched last week that wasn't Pokemon.
Yes.
Jedi Fallen Order.
The real launch for this week.
Yeah, don't get too bitter quite yet. But it received an 82 on Metacritic, which is actually pretty good. That's not bad. Again, this is the first real single player Star Wars experience that
since
we've
Force
had.
Awakens 2.
Pretty much. Oh my God. Yeah, it's been that long.
I think that was 2012, but I could be wrong.
Something like that. Yeah.
It did launch on the Wii. It was also on the Wii.
It has a very positive rating on Steam, and so it's under overwhelmingly positive. So fans are really liking it. Just based off some of the gameplay I've seen, it looks really fun. There's a lot of environmental exploration, and the combat seems to have some nods to Dark Souls, but at the same time, it really looks like they want you to feel like you're using a lightsaber. I know it's so cliche, but it looks really fun. It looks really fun.
Yeah, I've heard it's the best lightsaber combat ever. I've heard it's better than Force Awakens, better than Jedi Outcast. I've heard that the environmental exploration is very Tomb Raider-esque, and the combat's very Sekiro-esque. But regardless, I've heard it's a great combination of different genres. I've also heard too, other than some glitches and a bit of an overabundance of cosmetic items kind of littered throughout the world, I've heard that it's a very, very solid game. I'm going to get it hopefully soon, but it's not currently on my backlist just due to the fact that I'm still on my Wii. So there's a way to go. I've still got some Wii games to get through before I can put that thing away.
Yeah, I'm going to wait till this one's $25 or $30 on Steam before I pick it up.
Mm-hmm.
It's not in the immediate realm, so there's no point in spending so much money on it. But
speaking of spending a whole lot of money, we get to our next topic.
Oh God, yeah.
Actually, I'll hit this one because I'm the Sonic fan here. So Tyson Heese has helped. He's the guy who was behind the incredible Sonic Mania opening, the animation. He was brought in to help the Sonic movie redesign the character. And boy, did he. The redesign actually came out for the new trailer. It was leaked a bit beforehand. I'm assuming it was leaked intentionally to kind of gauge reaction. And it turned out really well. The reaction was very positive. And I've seen a lot of people that were on the train of, oh, this is terrible, say, I was wrong, this looks great, although the movie is no better or worse depending on the design. The design is only cosmetic, doesn't help the movie at all. But I think in terms of, this is a great marketing for the film, in that they listen to their fans and they actually change something that doesn't ultimately change the overall course of the movie. You make people happy. I've seen people say, I'm willing to go buy a ticket now. If I don't see the movie, I'm gonna buy a ticket and support Paramount. I think it's Paramount, but whatever they did here was great, and I want to see more companies do this, where you don't harm the film itself, but you just change something visually to make the fans more appeased. I think this ultimately was a great redesign on top of having a Sonic veteran come in who obviously loves the franchise and have him help redesign the character where there's no more human teeth.
Thank God, no more human teeth. And I do want to make a point there, in that, like, it looks like it could be a genuinely good children's movie, like a genuinely good movie. Like the new character design is extremely appealing, and it looks like a lot of time and a lot of care was actually put into it. And so,
This was
really
definitely an unnecessary cost that they chose to make for the fans.
Yeah, and also
expensive, but they went through it seems to look like there's great animations. They didn't just kind of copy paste a new model on there. There's new expressions. There's new motion to the character. He's holding different things in different scenes. So this was a complete rehaul.
Yeah, that and
or overhaul, I guess.
Yeah. I do want to say, it's even possible. I don't know how likely this would be, but like theoretically, they could have even rolled the redesign into the marketing budget just because of all the controversy and the free press they got from it. I don't know if they actually did that, but they got so much free press, not free because they ended up having to do the redesign, but with
publicity,
publicity. With controversy comes publicity. So I think that they're gonna.
Any publicity.
I think this movie's gonna do very well. And I think this movie. Go ahead.
I said any publicity is good publicity. Well, it tends to be true. It's not always true, but in this case, this is positive publicity, saying we're gonna push the film. We're gonna go out of our way to help redesign the character, and we're gonna drop it in the middle of nowhere February. I think it's ultimately a win-win because they get the good press from the redesign, and then drop it against no competition in February. So ultimately, this is a great move for the Sonic team.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I definitely think so. So we'll see. Moving on, completely different, but also a great thing. So Gamepass, so the Xbox service, Gamepass has now they've added a random selection feature. I believe it's actually an alpha right now. So if you're like one of the people who gets the test updates for your console, you can download this. Yeah, if you're important. So they added a button called the Surprise Me button, and the only thing it doesn't do anything else to surprise you, but it does select a random game that you may not have even thought of wanting to play. So maybe you're super into shooters, and it throws up Banjo-Kazooie in there for you, or vice versa. This is a really cool feature, and whenever you click the button, it just opens up the game page for whatever game that it randomly decides for you.
I do wish there would be a small chance that Surprise Me would actually be surprising and it wouldn't be a game that's something entirely unrelated.
Or like your Xbox just like turns into a PS4.
It evolves.
That'd be a surprise. That'd be a big surprise. Yeah.
The Red Ring returns.
Yeah.
There's a 1 in 4,000 chance that Surprise Me will bring back the Red Ring of Death.
Or it's just a jump scare when there's like a 1 out of 1,000 chance.
The screen pauses for 2-3 seconds. You lean in and just boom, it gets you.
Yeah, but I think this is a really cool feature, and while it's just it's pretty small news, but it's something I wanted to.
Well, the cool thing too is even if you say Surprise Me, you're like I don't like this game. If you at least kind of figure it out, like you're gonna get there eventually. Like even sometimes you offer someone, do you want Chipotle or do you want Chick-fil-A? Like what do you pick? So that's a Chick-fil-A. Oh no, I want Chipotle. Well fine, let's do that then. And so this kind of gives you don't really know what you want, so you have no option. So when the other game boots, if you don't want the game, you'll at least be like, no, I want to play this instead. But regardless, it's going to give you a choice and an option, and you're going to be, regardless of what it gives you, you're going to have an opinion what you want to play. So this helps everyone get over there. I've got a backlog, and I got a whole bunch of games, but I don't know which to play. Whether it gives you the one you want or one you don't want, it's going to help you find the one you want to play.
And also on Microsoft's end, it's trying to broaden the types of genres that their player bases are playing.
Yes.
And this in turn increases sales, albeit probably to a small degree, but at the same time, maybe spending a couple $1,000s in labor just to implement this feature is negligible compared to probably the small amount of revenue.
Yeah, you look at the cost to make any game whatsoever, and it's ultimately like, okay, yeah, this is pocket change.
Yeah. And again, on the Press Y podcast, we do our analysis of the gaming industry as well as gaming business and all of that. So if you're enjoying this so far, please like and subscribe. I'm going to start doing this, Emerson, in the middle of the episode.
Do it in the middle of the topic, like just mid-sentence, like throw it in there.
Yeah. Make sure that they're keeping up and they're paying attention.
All right. Messaging.
Guess what's launching on Tuesday?
Ooh, please say Apollo 15. We're going back to space, baby.
Unfortunately not.
Is it Elon Musk?
No, unfortunately, it's something less interesting. It's Google Stadia. Actually, Google Stadia is pretty interesting. But Google Stadia is launching on Tuesday.
Where's it launching to? Is it Orbit? Is it into your brain?
Into the warehouse.
Into your Chromecast?
Into your Chromecast, but into the warehouse where all the servers are stored.
Into your Google Pixel 2?
Yeah, so initially there was 12 games for the lineup, for the launch lineup, which is pathetic. I mean, you have games like Red Dead 2 and Mortal Kombat 11 for those of you who want to play Mortal Kombat 11 with lag. Shadow of the Tomb Raider, all of them. Literally all of them.
Yeah, they have a whole Tomb Raider collection on there. So also Stadia, the thing is, you buy them full price. So if you want to buy the Tomb Raider trilogy, as far as I'm aware, it's $180.
Yeah.
Like, yikes!
Yikes!
You're paying full price for something you don't own full time.
Bro. Hey, listen, they have Just Dance 2020. I'd happily pay full price for that.
Here's
on
the thing:
cloud-based
do you want to buy the full price Wii game or the full price Stadia game?
Ooh. Bro, I don't know. I kind of want to play Just Dance 2020 with some input lag and with a controller. How does that even work, actually? What do they do?
Do you want to buy it and find out? We'll go halvesies.
Hold on. Honestly. Yeah, we could do a review of Stadia. After this episode, I gotta make a note of that. But after this episode, I'm gonna look up how Just Dance 2020 works with a controller.
I'm gonna give you I didn't even think about that. I was thinking about you mentioned input lag with a controller.
Yeah, okay. They don't have like a Wii remote style thing. Like
so I guess Xbox maybe is Connect, and for the PS4 maybe it requires the Move.
The Move, yeah.
I don't know.
That's so weird. Or maybe it's just on the Honor system.
I was gonna say just one word and that'd be poorly.
Oh my god.
But I didn't even think about you wiggling the controller around, like toss it between hands to do your motions, like strap it to your leg like a Joy-Con.
Hey, I remember now. Okay, I remembered just now because the only time I've ever played Just Dance, it was like Just Dance 2017 maybe. I played it on the Wii U at a friend's house. I guess a long time ago. I say 2017. I don't know why we were playing it. There's a phone app. I completely forgot about that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but even still.
Well, given that Stadia requires a phone, that makes sense. And as we all know, we all have phones, right?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, so you have to be playing it on your Chromecast in order to play Just Dance 2020. Because you can't unless you got like a Samsung or something where you can multitask.
I love how innovative this is.
Innovative. Anyway, so we've been touching on this too long, but yeah, so there's 12 games for the launch lineup, but literally today, Jeff Cayley tweeted out saying that they're...
What happened was he woke up this morning, he saw his Twitter and thought, oh my God, I need to do something.
So it has increased, the launch lineup has increased to 22 games from the 12 announced last week. So they're adding in, I gotta look here. I can't even remember. Oh, okay, so you got it written down.
Yeah.
Attack on Titan 2. Attack on Titan 2 Final Battle.
No, Attack on Titan Final Battle 2. It's the second Final Battle, so it's the most Final Battle.
Oh, okay. Farming Simulator 2019.
Full price, baby.
Football Manager. Oh, Final Fantasy 15. I mean, that's
that one's. I've heard it's a great game. Good. On top of one that's actually that might be a fun to do. I think having like an RPG sort of thing on Stadia fits perfectly.
Yeah, I mean, it's an action RPG. Yeah. It's not like a turn-based.
Yeah.
So Metro Exodus, that's a solid title.
You missed Grid 2019.
Oh, and Grid
2019.
Grid 2019, very cool. So yeah, Stadia's looking pretty pathetic right now.
NBA 2K20 that's coming to the rescue.
I don't even care.
Rage 2, Trials Rising, and Wolfenstein Youngblood. Of all of these, I'm excited to play absolutely none of them on Chromecast.
Yep. or just at
And you can
all.
get them all much cheaper for in consoles. So that's the thing now. Is the question is, does a console mitigate the cost of buying everything full price when you can use a pass like Game Pass, or you can buy it used? I got Tomb Raider. I got all three of them for $20 a piece.
Yeah,
And so it's like, okay, just saving that $120, like there's half the console right there. Assuming like a Black Friday sale. But the Stadia, does having it yourself, playing whatever you want to, regardless of the internet connection, and saving the money, does that mitigate the cost of Stadia? Like the free access on top of having the $80 controller buried into the top of the phone and the Chromecast. But that's not
yeah. I'm not a fan. But and for some comparison, and also kind of moving into our next topic,
that's hot.
Exo 2019 was this week, and we'll talk about the other important announcements. But to relate back to Stadia, Microsoft actually they said that they're adding 50 titles to xCloud, and a couple of these titles just include like Devil May Cry 5, Just Cause 4. And they also announced that the service is coming to Windows 10,
That's exactly
and
when
that they'll
people
be
woke up and panicked.
yeah, and
We
it's
need
also
to
going to
add
be
Just
supporting
Dance.
it's also going to be supporting gamepads from Razer, and even the DualShock 4 for PS4.
I think
So
that's a low blow for Xbox to say, listen, okay, hey Sony, can we use your controller? Let's do it whatever we can to isolate Google as much as possible.
yeah,
We're gonna
it's
cross the console wars boundary just to flip off Google.
okay. So let's say we do xCloud with a Game Pass subscription.
hmm
There is so much more value to that. Okay, with maybe a slightly worse experience. Again, like both of these haven't really launched,
Well,
so we can't really
it's a big maybe there, especially too. Microsoft is very much they have their foot's already been in the water with gaming, saying that very lightly. They
and they
know what
have
they do
that.
when it comes to gaming. Google's new to this. Google has more of the server side of this.
No, not even. Like I'd say they're on equal fronts as far as the server goes, but Microsoft has the edge in that they know gaming better. Because I don't know if you know this, but Microsoft's Azure cloud platform is huge. Like businesses use it, and
Okay,
industry
yeah,
uses it.
I
Like
wasn't aware
it's
how huge it was. I
humongous.
assume Google was bigger than that overall, but yeah,
Oh
I think
no, I
is
mean
it,
maybe overall cloud computing, but
yeah.
Microsoft's
But see,
Azure
I think
platform
the
is
thing with
huge.
Stadia too is Stadia is launching as the punching bag to every other platform. Where Stadia is like we're coming out, we're breaking ground, and everyone thought that's a cool idea. I can do it better, and
Yep.
so I think Stadia it's a necessary sacrifice to move forward with the future. It's the body you put under the paved road.
Can I say something else? I
I'll allow it.
maybe people looking at it, they're probably not even saying can I do it better, but they're saying can I create a better value for consumers that will draw them in.
Yes.
So maybe Stadia ends up
Well, I think
being
it's a mix
like,
of we can do it cheaper and we can do it better.
well, I was gonna say maybe Stadia ends up being like the hardcore cloud streaming platform, meaning
But
you have the
why?
best, but you have like the best performance, the best. I'm gonna say the best graphics. That's so cliche, but the best streaming service.
Mm-hmm.
But then you have xCloud, and then a service like Game Pass where you have the most games. I mean, you get like
Yes.
what,
Well,
like a
we
hundred
also need to
something
wait on
games for
Steam
Game
because the Steam
Pass,
lets you play
and then yep,
offline. That's the winner right there.
yeah. I'm really interested to see what Valve is going to do with their platform. But yeah, just I wanted to contrast those announcements to
Break down the rest of
Stadia.
break down the rest of XO19 for us.
Yeah, yeah. So basically, the only other notable points from the show. So there's a new rare IP called Everwild. It's drawn some
Rest
comparisons
in peace, Banjo
to
Kazooie.
yeah, pretty much. It's drawn some comparisons to Breath of the Wild, which I think anything that's open world and has a similar art style does. But the lead developer is Louise O'Connor, and she's a lady who helped with the animation and voice work in Conker's Bad Fur Day, and apparently she also worked on Banjo Nuts and Bolts and Connect Sports. So I think that them talking about that is just PR. Like it literally means nothing for the game. It could be an absolutely trash game.
Yeah.
Like an absolute. I mean, Rare isn't the Rare it used to be, and I think it's pretty naive for anyone to assume that it is.
It's like Star
But
Wars.
yeah, kind of. I mean, they like what have they been working on? The most notable thing that Rare's worked on in the past, I guess, like 10 years has been Sea of Thieves.
PR.
Yeah, it's been Sea of Thieves. So, you know, I maybe it's a good game. I hope it's a good game because it'd be cool to see Rare, being put to use by Microsoft in a very creative way and not just in a shovelware kind of way. And again, Sea of Thieves, but still. I really hope this is successful for Rare and that they can, become the company that essentially they used to be, even if that's impossible with Microsoft. Another big announcement is a new Obsidian IP. So Obsidian just came out with Outer Worlds, but they're also working on another game, and that game is called where was it? Shoot. Grounded. I'm sorry. My my point
Next
got
topic.
messed up.
Move on. Smooth. The transition. Yeah.
No, my point got messed up. Yeah. So the new Obsidian IP is called Grounded, and it's essentially not essentially. It is a survival game where you play as
It's a young child in school trying to survive your parents.
Pretty
you
much.
Don't want to end up grounded.
Yeah. So you're in the yard. You're in the backyard, and you're really tiny. It's like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids kind of deal. You're really tiny, and all the enemies are bugs, as well as all the things you eat are bugs. But you can build forts with your friends, and like it's just a co-op survival game. And I'm sure there's like some end goal. I think you probably just get big or whatever. But shut up. But it looks kind of fun. I'd say I don't know. I'm not huge on survival games. They've never been really my cup of tea, but it's just like Everwild. It's launching on Xbox One and PC.
You could have lied about that entire game to me and been BSing me. I would not know the difference. It's such a strange premise. But I'll take you at your word that it's true.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, the video game. We're going back to
plus combat.
Yeah.
Speaking of combat.
Speaking of combat.
Yes.
Well, sort of. So WWE, the actual company, not the game, filed a trademark that's potentially hinting at an esports league, and with two trademarks filed. One was WWE SGL, and the other was Superstar Gaming League. So this is actually a really smart move on WWE's part because it brings younger audiences into the WWE.
Although
atmosphere.
I will say the thing with that is no one under the age of 85 watches WWE, so I don't think they're going to get much from their show to the gaming. I think it'll be in reverse. You got some gamers who may want to watch someone get body slammed.
Honestly, I mean, I don't know. I feel like if you appeal to a younger audience with a brand using esports to say like their esports team does Fortnite.
It's got to be called WWEsports. Oh my God. It has to be. That's so obvious. If they miss that, it's like WWE Gaming Club exclusives. I'm going to fire somebody. I'm going to go into the company, work my way up, and then fire somebody.
You just put on a suit and fire them. But this is actually a smart move. It is a good potential way of bringing younger audiences into the WWE world. But we'll see. So moving on to the next thing here. So I'm sorry, I'm not letting you cover many topics.
Well, I've been out the entire week.
He's been out.
So I'm just here as a viewer for the most part.
Emerson's just along for the ride.
Yes.
So Herman Miller, my favorite chair company. I can't believe I just said that. I have a favorite chair company.
I have a favorite chair company.
I don't know. I've used a lot of really uncomfortable chairs, but I have like a nice Herman Miller.
What's your worst chair company? Like what's your like Dasani of chairs?
Dude, I don't even know any other chair company. like off the top of my head. I can just think of like the just god awful chairs I've had to go to work in and all this other stuff. Anyway, I have a Herman Miller chair at home and they're super comfortable. Well, it's recently announced that they're actually partnering with a company called Complexity Gaming, which actually has a headquarters here in Texas. For me, as Emerson's.
You've just doxed yourself.
Yeah, I just doxed. Like, okay, good luck finding me in one of the biggest states in America.
It's not quite the biggest.
It's one of the biggest.
It's very densely populated in some areas, though.
Yeah, I could be literally. It's like either densely populated or.
You could be in West Texas or in West Texas, the city of West.
Yeah,
and he knows where he is. He can be anywhere.
I could
be behind you right now.
See, this is how interesting the Herman Miller story is. But they're making gaming chairs, and I'm excited. I don't know if I'm gonna dish out $1,000 for a Herman Miller gaming chair. But if I had $1,000 lying around, I probably would because I absolutely love my current chair.
Which leads us to our plea of the day. Please sponsor us.
Please, please,
we'll
God.
shout out your name at the beginning of every podcast.
I will say this podcast is sponsored by Herman Miller. Here, I'll even do a fake ad. This podcast is brought to you by Herman Miller. They make sick ass chairs.
That's exactly what they're for too. That fits perfectly.
Huh?
They're literally chairs for that part of your body.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Sick ass chairs. Yes.
What other chairs would they be for? Like knee chairs?
See, Herman Miller. See, you have a cuss word in there, and then it automatically appeals to gamers, and they just see like, wow,
You're in,
cool,
buddy.
because you're in because you cussed. That's super cool. So Herman Miller, if you're out there for some reason on this lonely part of the internet, please, first of all, like and subscribe. Second of all, please sponsor us.
We will shill so hard for you.
Something
but
else,
not for China.
But not for China, bro. China sucks. Hey, you're gonna have to give me some lessons later on transitions.
Okay,
you're really good. But yeah, so China sucks. So we cover this in plenty of podcasts by now. But they making continuing on their record of restriction of freedom. China actually just made it now to where anyone under the age of 18 is now banned from playing online and video games from 10 p.m. to 8 a.m. Emerson put Smash Bros online just got easier. Bro, any game with Chinese characters in it just got or Chinese like characters.
All those Chinese kids can stop beating me up in Smash Bros late at night. Although I guess probably for them it's more like noonish for us, so we're fine.
Yeah. Honestly, like most. Okay, here I want to touch on that.
Yeah, finish up the story and we'll get back to that.
Yeah. So they only get minors only get 90 minutes of play during weekdays, and so like 90 minutes a day.
Thanks,
and then
Dad.
And then they get 3 hours a day on weekends and holidays. Talk about a nanny state. That's the only thing I'll get political on is screw you, China.
And so
what are you gonna do?
The
Come to my corner of the internet?
Over the 3 hours, the hand of the government comes out of the computer, it grabs him and slams his head into the desk.
He does a straight up vibe check and pulls him into the computer monitor.
It clotheslines him on his way out too.
Yeah. I was just thinking if calling out China is gonna affect me at all in the future. No one knows about this podcast. I'm good. By the time I have a job where it matters.
Yeah, when you work for Blizzard, it gets really awkward.
Yeah. Again, it's not all of China. It's
just the government.
It's just the government. It's literally just the government.
It's not you. It's Xi Jinping.
So back to Emerson saying that Smash Bros. Online just got easier. I did want to say most like whenever I see Asian characters like in a username,
Gunnar leans forward in his chair.
I do generally get scared. I do lean forward in my chair because that's how I get good at Smash Bros. I get closer to the screen. It does scare me, but I will say at Smash Bros. I haven't really had that issue. It's mostly in mobile games and then like Counter-Strike and stuff where I just get absolutely, or Overwatch and Counter-Strike where I absolutely get slaughtered. But I feel like with Smash Bros, the only like I guess Western characters I ever see, or was it or Western or no Eastern? I'm sorry, Eastern characters I ever see are like Japanese. It's always Japanese characters, but it's always people who are faking it.
They're always like 5-6 characters long. So okay, your name's not that long in Japanese characters.
It's
they
something
combine
like that,
letters.
and
like
then
you're not 5-6 Japanese characters long, all of which were selected in a no pattern whatsoever. Like okay, yeah, sure.
No, that or and then they'll
I
have
believe
a waifu.
You're an excellent Japanese little Mac. Okay, sure.
Well, no, I was gonna say they always have a waifu as their icon as well, which just means that they're basement dwellers. It doesn't mean that they're Japanese. It doesn't mean that they're good at the game.
It means their girlfriend is 2D.
Also, I'd argue that North American players are primarily North American players are significantly better than I'd say Japanese players.
The challenge, the gauntlet's been thrown.
Yeah, well, I'd also say that the scene. I mean, this is just basically a fact. The scene in North America is so much bigger than Japan.
Well, North America is much bigger than Japan, so that stands to reason.
Yeah, exactly.
We can fit your continent into, or your country into our country several dozens of times over. I think it tends to stand that we have a much bigger scene, and that we have a much higher population.
Though I will say, I don't know if you ever seen Raito. He's a Japanese. I believe he's a Japanese player. I'm gonna double check that. But have you seen Raito play?
I have not. I don't watch competitive Smash.
Okay, he plays Duck Hunt. At least he did in Smash 4, and he played Duck Hunt for a little bit in Ultimate. I think he moved to Banjo. I haven't watched him play in a long time, but he's one of my favorite players to watch because he's so creative. We're kind of getting off topic here. We're just talking about how scary it is.
If you find he's Chinese, would be very awkward. So Garner's just like holding his head in his hand, saying, "Please don't be Chinese."
Yeah,
this would be very awkward. I just district governments, and now, he's a Chinese.
Oh yeah. The Chinese government sucks. Chinese people and Chinese business. Some Chinese business. All right, I'm not gonna dig that hole any deeper. Anyway,
keep going, Gunnar. We're only recording this.
BioWare is reported to be working on an Anthem overhaul. I put a bunch of points in here, but what's there really to say other than BioWare is reported to be working on?
Yeah, support your game. And this came out, and people are like, it's going to compete with Fortnite, and then BioWare just washed their hands.
Wait, did anyone say
about it?
Did anyone say that it was going to compete with Fortnite?
When it came out, it launched huge, and then it had a massive drop off because. Are
you thinking of Apex Legends?
No, I think Anthem was too. Didn't Anthem come out really big as well?
Well, I don't know actually. Anthem's not a battle royale. Anthem's just a game.
Okay, I remember Anthem had a huge launch and then just fell off.
Well, the marketing was huge, and then the game came out, and everyone was like, "Wait, this is really bad," because it was really bad, and also unfinished. So they're working on fixing the game.
How long has it been?
God, I don't know. Look up Anthem release date. Regardless, they're trying to fix the game, and change it drastically.
But now,
that's the thing. Is
do we call it a sequel? Do we just throw it out there, Anthem 2.0, or do we just say, no, it's just still Anthem, but just better now? Do we Overwatch 2 it and say it's a different game when it's really not, or what?
Okay. Here's the thing, and this is why I'm kind of stopping here. Is I initially wrote down that I was kind of praising EA and the developers for fixing their mess, which sure, but there shouldn't be a mess in the first place, and this seems to be a pretty big trend with the EA. So
they launch a game pre-launch, basically.
Or yeah. So are they just? I guess there's just unreasonable development schedules.
Feel like they rush it out to hit a deadline rather than to put out a good product.
Yeah.
You know what that leads us into? Pokemon Sword and Shield launched this week. I was leading you so hard with that transition.
Yeah. Yes, sir, you were.
Pokemon Sword and Shield has an 81 on Metacritic. Although Pokemon, I tend to think they tend to have they're given a lot of leeway with reviews, where it's it was standard Pokemon, 9 out of 10. Well, hang on, if it didn't innovate, if it didn't do anything new, the graphics were subpar. Wait, how? Okay, so breaking it down, the fan average is 4.0 average currently. It's a 4.1 for Shield and a 3.9 for Sword, or vice versa right now, because they are technically different games and they have different review scores. But they average out to a 4.0 fan score. It's been a roller coaster this week. The week started with the hashtag Thank You Game Freak trending, because after the whole the decks blah negativity. So I think it was Verlisify. I could be wrong. It might have been I don't know. Was the YouTuber started out? The PokeTuber started out with the whole thing of hashtag Thank You Game Freak, and that went around for a while. And it was like, okay, good, we're going with positivity in Sword and Shield. And then it came out that the high quality animations that were the reason the deck cuts were announced in the first place. Turns out a lot of models are recycled, the animations are not great, and there are some serious corners cut here. And then hashtag Game Freak lied came out, and then that killed all positivity I saw going into the game. So there was a roller coaster of whole marketing for this thing from start to finish. Again, the high quality animations being the reason they cut the decks, they should have just said balancing and called it a day. But they didn't want to say, well, your Pokemon is not competitively viable, or it's too good, therefore we're cutting it. They said animations is the reason we're cutting the decks to we can't do them all in time, and the animations were not changed, and the models are the same as they were in 2013 for X and Y. So this has been a disaster for them, because even currently for a Switch game, it does look better than than Sun and Moon. That being said, we're comparing a 3DS game to a Switch game. For a Switch game, the graphics are not very good. In battle, they look fine. Although there is a significant lack of backdrops for your battle. The graphics in battle are fine. The models look great. The overworld is a big oof. The map design is a big oof.
Hey, can I touch on something real quick?
Ahead.
As far as the battles go, I did see a YouTube video. I'll try to find it and include it in our sources if I'm able to. So it showed that there's 3 different battles on the bridge with your rival or whatever, and
only one uses the bridge backdrop, right?
Yeah, the 2 of them are in a field, and then the last one's on the bridge. So,
yeah, even so, there's some on the water. It's just a generic blue background that people thought was particle effects. And so they did. I mean, Sun and Moon had a lot, and so it is strange that they backtracked for the battle, the scenery animation, or the backdrops for battles. I've heard the dungeons are very linear, very straightforward. I've heard the routes are very linear. There's not much exploration, not many branching paths. Although, as per usual, the gameplay is as solid as it ever was because not much gameplay has changed. The new Pokemon and new forms apparently are very solid. But for the overworld, the render distance is absolutely atrocious. Pokemon phase in and out, feet away from you. Things, they don't move well. Of course, it's still T-Pose Wingull still flies around. Things just spin around on themselves. It's strange.
You know what they should have done?
Well, they should have pushed the game and made it better, but the issue is it's launching with the anime, it's launching with the cards, and therefore they can't. Anyway, go to your point.
No, what they should have done is they should have done exactly what Nintendo did. They should have picked up the phone and called Monolith Soft, be like, "Hey, we're making a big open world, and also we're trying to make big environments, like on the more closed off routes."
Yeah, can you split your Xenoblade team again and send them over here?
Or just be like, "Hey, you don't even have to like give us your entire team or half your team. Could you literally just consult with us for a month?
Yeah,
to help us figure out this these engine issues because our game looks like absolute doo doo."
Yeah.
And again, this is coming from someone who, I have high standards for the kinds of stuff that's released, and I'm not.
I don't. I'm still disappointed.
I have really high standards, and like if I see something and I don't feel like it's a quality product, that's gonna add some negativity to it on my end. Thankfully, the gameplay does look good, and I'm not even a casual fan of Pokemon. I've played Let's Go and that's it. And Let's Go was atrocious for me. I thought it was one of the most boring games I've ever played. But I'm looking forward to the game and that, like, learning the mechanics and the challenge of just the RPG aspect of the game. But as far as the game looks, and even seeing some of the cutscenes and some of the like the environments and everything, it looks disgusting. Like
there were some serious corners cut for cutscenes, for animations, for character models and stuff. This should not be a Switch game. At least with a lot of the cutscenes, the standard sets have been so much higher for a long time. There's no reason they should be like the word clapping in asterisks comes on screen and they're waving their arms around.
Yeah, and also it's like, okay, cool. Game Freak hit a 1080p image for most of the game, not all of it. It drops down to like I think 894 or something because it has a dynamic resolution. So, but they mostly hit higher resolutions than Breath of the Wild and Xenoblade. Okay, at what cost? Like, you have a terrible art style and you have a terrible and a terrible engine. Xenoblade runs at 720p, and it looks like significantly better as far as the world goes and the environment goes. And take Breath of the Wild, it runs at 900p. Again, so much better. And a lot of that is attributed to one, optimization, and two, art direction just being significantly better. I don't know. I don't think it looks like a Switch game.
One thing you're going to be disappointed with is that a lot of the cities that look big, a lot of things in the background you can't access, and so a lot of the cities are a lot smaller than they appear.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I knew that would let you down a bit, so I waited to do it on stream. Yeah, a good point. There's some cities that look huge, and the big ones, they're very sparsely populated for one. For two, a lot of things you can only access are on the straight little part you're on. You can't go everywhere. Because a lot of it is design and not accessible.
That's just a facade.
Yeah, so I've heard the game is very bare bones story-wise. I haven't played it yet. My copy is still on the way, but I'm going to play it whenever I get it, and I'm going to try to hopefully finish Skyward Sword before then. If not, I'm going to pause that for a bit, regretfully, and play Sword and Shield. And also pause Three Houses. I just started that over the weekend. But I want to get Pokemon done. I'm looking forward to the metagame very much. So for the game, I think it's going to be I've heard it's very standard Pokemon. They haven't innovated much at all. They have changed a couple things. The escape rope is now a permanent item, although they did that in a game with no Victory Road, very few dungeons and the ones we have are very linear and very short. Okay, I guess the escape rope being permanent now, that helps, but it doesn't really help this game. The XP share is permanent, and that was also a point of contention. I don't really care because the games had been piss poor easy since Black and White. On the DS, so I don't think the XP share being on has helped when the AI will literally send out Pokemon that are weak against you before they send out the ones that are strong against you. But that's whatever. Hopefully, it's more of a challenge than the most recent ones were. But even if it's not, you have your own Nuzlocke modes. You can make your own challenge. The game's as hard as you want it to be. And so I think for the game, I'm still looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the post game, as in the meta game, more so. But I also do question if this is worth 50% more than Sun and Moon, which had a lot in there. On top of having an excellent dexing mode, on top of having really good combat, pretty solid story, pretty good cutscenes too for a 3DS game, as well as having a lot more, I guess, heart. It seems like.
Yeah. Well, I'm actually gonna start the game. Well, either tonight or tomorrow. I'll try to get some footage recorded too, because we were thinking
I'd
about
recommend
doing
tomorrow because it's pretty late tonight. But that's up
Yeah.
to you,
I'm also not looking
gamer.
forward to the boredom of a tutorial and like, yeah, okay, I'm new to Pokemon, whatever. But like
Yeah.
RPG tutorials are
Well,
insufferable.
I've heard people saying, "Oh, you can skip the tutorial." And I watched a review yesterday saying, "I hit yes, I understand this," and they still explain it to me regardless. So I've heard the tutorial is skippable, or some parts of it are, but it hopefully it's not Sun and Moon long. The Sun and Moon was notoriously long for super hand holding at the beginning of the game. And by the end of it, when you like, especially with Ultra, you have some serious challenge in there. But very early on in Sun and Moon, there was a lot of tutorials. At least it's not as bad as that. It's been cut back a bit from what it was in the 3DS with a long like tutorial, like a whole first island big tutorial basically. So thankfully it's a bit shorter than that. Hopefully it won't take you too long. But I have not played it yet, so I cannot verify how long it is. But once I get past it, hopefully you do enjoy it and have some fun with your Pokemons.
Yeah, because again, RPG tutorials are insufferable.
Yes.
Uh, bro, Xenoblade was a tutorial for like the first 5 hours.
That showed Mathangel 3.
Or Xenoblade 2 rather.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much it for the stories this week.
Yeah,
It's
well,
not a
before we
ton
move
of
on to Press
interesting
Y, I
news.
just want to say I love you and all you guys.
Oh yeah, and since we love you and you love us supposedly, please be sure to like and subscribe.
Mhm.
Shout out to that dude. Shout out to that dude who commented on our video last week. Very cool. Um, that's
Did
all
you
I
get my
have as far
reference
as
there,
stories
Gunnar?
go.
With I love you and all
No,
you guys?
no.
I love you too. I love you and all
Oh
you
god.
guys.
Oh god. Yes. Okay. Xenoblade. Thank you.
Yeah, hard friend zone. Come on. I was trying
Yeah.
to tie in with the Xenoblade thing there, and you left me
Spoilers.
hanging.
Spoilers, dude.
I
All
didn't say
right.
the
So
person's name, so it's not a
it's
spoiler.
not it's not a Press Y podcast without us
No.
pressing Y. And since I've taken the lead this week, I'm going to continue to take the lead and not give it to Emerson. So my Press Y this week. Actually, last week I touched on Luigi's Mansion 3 just as far as it being a technical spectacle for the Switch, as well as some other Switch games, and that was kind of my point. But I wanted to touch on the game itself, Luigi's Mansion 3. I just beat it this weekend, and wow, like wow, it knew exactly what it wanted to do,
It changed your
and
worldview.
no, it didn't change my worldview, but it knew exactly what it wanted to do, and it executed that, about 95% of the time. I hardly have any criticisms of the game, other than a couple of annoying pacing issues with a certain recurring boss that I don't really want to get into as far as spoiler territory goes. But that part I thought was extremely annoying, as well as a little bit of backtracking. Not a ton, but just a little bit. But even still, in that they kept it fairly interesting. But it's one of the most, it's one of the best looking games on the Switch. I'd argue it is the best looking game on the Switch, and it gave so much expressiveness to all like I guess all the Mario characters, but especially Luigi. Like Luigi has the most personality in the Mario universe, which is really weird. That I don't even think of any of those characters of having personality other
Are they even
than
characters? They're models
yeah,
with faces.
pretty much.
They're empty
But
shells that you impart your own emotions onto.
yeah, but Luigi was given a lot of personality, and there was talk a while back of like what a Mario movie would look like, and honestly, I'd think it looked like something like this game because it literally felt as if I was watching a movie. And the music, I want to say the music is fantastic. It's not everyone's cup of tea, but and I'd say it's not everyone's cup of tea in a sense that there's no like solid like oh like I really remember that song from Luigi's Mansion 3 kind of songs, but all of it is just so good regardless. Like it's good background music. It's not good, I guess music. I don't even really want to say that. It's not memorable, but it's very very good.
It
Like that's
sets
the
the
most
tone very well for the game you're playing.
yes.
It's immersive.
Perfect. Yeah, there's a couple bangers in there like that I can remember off the top of my head, but it's very immersive regardless. But yeah, I'm trying to think of any other points. One of the reviews I saw said that the combat is a bit tedious. Honestly, I didn't think it was all that tedious. A couple times maybe, and then there was also complaints that the slam mechanic is a bit overpowered. And yeah, it is to a degree. It ends fights pretty quick, but a lot of the time what I do is so a ghost starts at the 100 health. I'd suck up the ghost until it got to like 40 health, and then I'd do the slam mechanic just because it's more fun trying to suck up the ghost, because it can be kind of difficult, especially with some of the harder ghosts as you near the end of the game, because they're more sporadic in their movements, so it's harder to keep up with pulling on them. So that mechanic a lot of people have complaints about, but I think if you mentioned earlier, like with Pokemon, is you can make it as hard as you want, and that's kind of how it is with Luigi's Mansion as well.
Yeah.
Because you can't. Most of the fights are pretty easy. I didn't die all too much, but
Yeah, especially Pokemon the last few games. The games themselves are pretty easy to play, straightforward. So you add your own rules. You play to make it harder to enjoy the game more.
Yeah, and you can kind of do that here with some of the battles, because the battles, other than the bosses, seem like mostly filler. But one other thing I want to touch on is how much love and care seem to be put into the game. Like, there's so many custom facial expressions and events and ghosts. Like, you'll see one ghost that you'll see throughout the entire game, but then it's different on one floor from another because of like the environment and stuff. Like, they may have a sword, or they may have
A shield,
like a helmet or something. Yeah. Like, there's one part where there's like they turn into sharks. Like, it's really funny. Like, it's really, really clever, really funny. And there's just like a very light overall tone. And the floor, the movie theater, or the movie production studio floor, offers you a very interesting moral choice. I'm not going to get into, but pretty deep for a children's game. It's not that deep, but it is kind of funny.
It's a trolley problem.
I can tell you about it off stream.
Do you let the 5 die, or do you actively kill the 1?
Yeah, but that's my press Y. So you go ahead.
All right, so my press Y for the week is, I couldn't think of how to phrase it other than like evolution in game design. So as I said, I started 3 houses over the weekend. I started farming 3 houses. I'm already 5 or 6 hours into it, of course, 2 or 3 days. And I was just thinking back to, I played Fire Emblem Awakening for the 3DS, the first one on the 3DS. I played that one maybe 7 or 8 times. And so starting 3 houses, seeing how far the game's come within the generation, from the first game on the 3DS to the first game on the Switch, seeing how far that's come is absolutely astonishing. 3 Houses is a gorgeous game. The gameplay is excellent. There's so many more things there. It was a big risk to make it Persona-esque, but you can kind of mitigate the monastery if you want to. I actually like kind of learning how to work the monastery, how to work the classes, how to change people's goals and fit those goals, how to recruit other units from different classes, or I guess different houses. It's actually insane how you went from Awakening, which was a pretty okay story, pretty good combat. It was a bit broken with the parent mechanic, but you went from that, where the models had no feet, because they didn't have time to make feet for the models. You go from that to 3 houses, where you can now pet the dogs, free roam the monastery. Every model looks excellent. There's different costumes for each model. You can customize their class, their weapons. You can train them however you want to. It's insane how much it's progressed in Fire Emblem from Game 1 3DS to Game 1 Switch. It's also why I'm a bit disappointed in the progress, even from the last game on the 3DS to the first game on the Switch, is Pokemon's playing it super safe, which more power to them for doing what works, I guess. But going from Rebel or Echoes or Awakening, any of the 3DS houses, going from that to 3 houses is such a leap. It's awesome. I love seeing companies take risks, try new things, fix things that didn't work, and they even expand on things that did work. They seem to have done everything right so far. I'm not far enough to press Y on 3 houses yet, but in terms of what it's done for the franchise, I'm absolutely pressing Y for that, because it's stunning how far they've come from where they were on the 3DS. They've absolutely maximized their utility on the Switch. I'm pressing Y for that progress and evolution in game design.
Very cool. All right. Well, you have any other thoughts?
I have several of them, but they're currently trying to formate words, so no.
All right. Very cool.
They're pounding around in my head trying to hit the word bank.
Again, be sure to like and subscribe. Follow us on Twitter. Click that notification
and send
bell.
us a chair, please.
Yes, and Herman Miller, please, God, if you are listening, please give us some what did I say? Some sick ass chairs. Yeah.
You did say that.
With that tone, sick ass chairs. But yeah, so hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode of the Press Y podcast. We are posting actually new time. So instead of Sundays, we're going to be posting on Mondays, and each episode is going to come out at 7:30 Central.
Yes.
So
we are consistently late, so now we're consistently on time.
Yeah. So we realize it's
at least we're consistent.
Yeah, at least we're consistent, and that is the one of the qualities of a quality channel.
Press Y for knowing when you're beat.
I will toot my own horn. All right, thank you guys very much. We'll see y'all next week. Happy gaming, gamers.
And bye-bye.
And bye-bye.